Hello everybody and welcome to Week 11, Season 5 of the Multi-Battle Conference. Of course, we are Team Doesn't Click and we are here this week versus first place in the other division, Hector and Mando, aka the SoCal Drillers, and of course, I am not alone. Fiona, please.
Hello everybody. This is an important week for a bye.
Yep.
Like, we need this win in order to actually have a chance at a bye.
Yeah, exactly. If we win, we have to win and hope someone else, and hope the Madalfinas lose, and that's one way to do it. And I think that's the only way we have a shot at a bye. But it's a shot at a bye, and in an RNG-based game, you don't want to play more than you have to. If we can get a bye in the top 8, we will gladly take that. But for now, we have the very intimidating Mando and Hector staring us both down right now.
Yeah. These two are both really good players in VGC. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun game between all four of us.
One thing I do
seeing
like...
their draft, they had the Blastoise Fungus option. So we wanted to cover that in prep with our Dragapult and with safety goggles.
Yeah, for sure. They have a lot of options. And one thing I do want to point out before we just jump into things, obviously I'm going to let the video go, but Among Us Burnouts, they do weekly power ranking videos, guys. They do sum-ups, they do summaries of the battles. They have all the links to their battles, all the links to the battles of the league in the descriptions of those live streams. It's a really good place to be if you're interested in the league at all, and you want to follow along with outside of just what we do. Then I recommend heading over there. That link will be in the description, so make sure to go give those guys I guess it's a sub. I almost said follow, but we're on YouTube, Ryan, not Twitch. So make sure to give those guys a follow, and just so you guys know, they actually have us as losing this match, which is perfectly respectable. I think Mando and Hector have the better draft, and they mentioned that as the reason. They mentioned everybody here is a good player, and that Hector and Mando just have the better draft, and I think with the draft coming up on the screen, you guys can kind of see that now. It's a little bit more versatile. Very, very, very versatile, actually. But when you want to, when someone bets against you, I don't know, I always like proving them wrong. So I definitely have a little bit of extra fire in my soul for this one.
So, the important thing to note is that the Blastoise side has the Dynamax, so we figured either Duraludon or Blastoise is going to end up leading.
Yep.
We decided to stick with our normal game plan of Dragapult and Decidueye.
Yep. Basically, that covers, we have the safety goggles and the grass type. Basically, Fungus is completely useless. There's nothing they can do about that. If they decided to go with the Pikachu option, or maybe something else that we may not have liked as much as a Follow Me Yuzu, we could potentially go for the Flutterby to allow ourselves to live anything that the block, to just basically lower the special attack. Because their primary thing was special. So if we can shut that down, we're good. So no reason to change anything there.
Yeah. So they decided to lead Blastoise, of course, and Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is interesting because we didn't expect that one at all.
No.
So we figured, since, it doesn't have its Mega anymore, it's not really that offensive, doesn't have Strong Jaw, they're probably just going to go for like a Tailwind or something. And be Sash.
Yeah, be Focus Sash, live whatever Dragapult wants to go for, get a Tailwind up, and then have Blastoise in Tailwind doing some damage. So I did at least consider, I did look at Fiona here and say, what are the chances they're set up Aerodactyl? And, because the thing is, they were already locked into first place in their division, they were there for that, So they could have definitely done something here and just fooled around, and I would have respected it. But they do go for the, I believe they ended up going for the Max Blastoise?
Yeah, they do go for the Max Blastoise.
I don't know.
And of course, in return, we do decide to max our Dragapult.
Yep. But while we're talking here, I can use this time to talk about damage calc, and I think it's the reason I love leagues like this. You get to use unique Pokemon, and you get to calc things ahead of time. You can know calcs going into matches, so in the back of my head here, we know we can live any sort of Hailstorm they decide to go for, and this Phantasm, plus a Leaf Blade, plus a Shadow Sneak will kill this Blastoise every single time, even with the three lowest rolls possible. So very, very nice on that, and really, 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 really love when I can execute things like that. So we're gonna see what this Aerodactyl wants to go for, but.
So, interesting to note that this Aerodactyl moved first, so it is Scarf.
Yeah, very.
That's the only way it's possible.
Yeah, very unique tech. Very unique tech. I like to see it though.
So Blastoise goes for the Hailstorm, hits Decidueye. Decidueye takes quite a bit of damage. But of course we can for it with Assault Vest. Phantasm comes off here, and of course, as we said, this is guaranteed Leaf Blade into Sneak next turn. Should pick up the KO on the Blastoise, and as you can see, perfect range for it.
Yep, exactly what we wanted here. This was calced for, and when you can calc for things, I don't know, it makes me very happy. But regardless of that, we're actually in a good spot right here. So as Fiona mentioned, this Aerodactyl is Choice Scarf, so they're almost forced to switch out right here. And we basically shut this Blastoise down. They didn't get their Cannonade up. They're in range of Shadow Sneak. Yeah, sure, they can guard for a turn. It's not going to help them. We'll just Shadow Sneak them the next turn. Their Dynamax is done, and that's what you love to see. I think myself and Fiona managed these first 2 turns almost perfectly. I don't think we could have done much more better.
So, seeing as this Aerodactyl is locked, it either has to switch out or just sit here and click Tailwind. So Arcanine comes in, just as A to reset the Aerodactyl's Scarf and B intimidate Decidueye.
Maybe go ahead. I talked.
He comes up here, of course, picks up the Blastoise, and we wanted to capitalize by catching up to their Pokemon in Tailwind by going for an Airstream here.
Yep, so that's exactly what we do, and Airstream coming out. Gonna do a little bit of damage.
Honestly, not as much as we were expecting.
Yeah, no, but I think that's just because we're used to Life Orb, Dragon Ball damage. We've been running, I think we ran Life Orb the last 2-3 weeks. So
yeah,
it's not what we were expecting there, but it did still do a decent job.
So now they bring in, I believe, Duraludon.
It is Duraludon, yep.
And this turn, I was concerned about Will-O-Wisp, so like we need to get rid of the Arcanine this turn with Phantasm.
Very, very rightfully so concerned about the Will-O-Wisp because, you know, it's Arcanine, it's probably going to be some sort of extra support set. You know, they didn't really have, you're not going to get a big offensive sweeper with this Arcanine here. It's not going to, it doesn't do much for their team. The defensive Arcanine, though, does a lot against our team. So, I think we were both expecting Will-O-Wisp here, so we're going to try to pick it up. And I'm going to bring in Slippy because there's not much either of these 2 Pokemon that are on the field can really do to Slippy.
So yeah. Of course, Slippy comes in here. We go for the Phantasm thinking it'll KO because we saw the Airstream damage, but it wasn't even close to the KO actually.
I would say
it looks like it did less than the Airstream.
No, it definitely does not look like that. But I get your point. It definitely didn't do as much as we were expecting. But either way, Arcanine, of course, gonna live that, get that Citrus Berry up, get this Will-O-Wisp off, and now Dragapult is a little bit hindered. Not loving its life right now. But Duro's gonna drop a big old Draco Meteor here, and it's gonna actually do a decent chunk to this Slip.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage.
Alright.
But
alright, just before you continue, Fiona. Slippy sucks. Can we get this off? This might be the last time I get to say this. I hate this Pokemon. But anyway, Slippy sucks. Go ahead, continue.
But we get our Citrus Berry here, and yeah, the thing is, we just decided we want to go for a Dragon Dart here. Because we figured it would KO Arcanine if they decide to stay in, because they are -1 from the Phantasm. So we figured it would put it in hail range. And if the Duraludon were to attack, because they're minus special attack, it wouldn't be able to KO us, pretty sure.
Yep, and I'm expecting a Mimikyu switch in here, because I look at this matchup on paper, I see Slowking, and I literally said to Fiona and Pepper, it's very unlikely they'd bring it. Like, when I look at it, we have a Dragapult, we have an Urshifu, we have a Toxtricity, even Volcarona, to some extent, with Bug Buzz and stuff, can do some damage to it, so I don't know if they'd really be wanting to bring that, so I'd expect to break into skies on Mimikyu if they decide to switch. But Arc is going to switch out, so now we get some darts on.
Aerodactyl comes back in. We actually see Duraludon switch out as well, and it goes into the Slowking, which is something we weren't expecting.
As I mentioned, we weren't expecting it, so I don't know if they just decided to say, hey, let's roll with it. But what I do got to give them credit for is, you know, they had a game plan, they stuck with it, they saw something that we clearly didn't see, so I respect them for that. So we get the big old Earth Power off here in the Slowking, of course, Slippy being bad. Slowking takes that very, very well. I think it's probably a combination of Slowking just being big.
Yeah, Slowking is the better, especially defensive one. Slowbro is the defensive one.
I also think Slowking is a really phenomenal draft Pokemon. If you need some sort of Trick Room setter or a versatile Slowmon, I think Slowking or Slowbro, I think both of them are really,
I agree.
I think they're both really, really good.
So, we just wanted to get rid of Aerodactyl. There is no point in, we'll take the free knockout or we can get it, and then we'll put Scald into the Aerodactyl.
Yep, and you decided Phantom Force here, which I completely agree with, and that will go into the Slowking here, obviously trying to get the knockout there. But Rock Slide coming out, and it's going to go into Slippy, and guys, where there's a Rock Slide, there's a way. You hope and you pray that it doesn't happen. Slippy gets the Scald off, nice. Alright, so Slippy's going to get that Scald off there, Aerodactyl's going to go down, and we're actually in a nice spot right here. I'm quite content with this spot.
Trick Room actually comes out from the Slowking, so that's something we weren't expecting because they have a lot of... Their mode is killing.
Yeah, exactly.
And we see Room Service.
Yeah, and I really, really, really like that prep. They realize our slowest mon was a Scavalier. If they go Room Service with this, they can actually underspeed the Scavalier, making it faster in Trick Room. And I'm sure at this point they're going to have some sort of Fire Push.
Yeah.
So really, really, just really good prep on their end so far. They're pulling it back.
So, of course, we're scared with Slippy right now because we don't want to get a Leaf Blade.
Yeah.
So we decided to go into Robin Hood and just stack it.
Yep. Obviously, they have the free double up into this slot. They're not going to bother attacking the Dragapult slot.
Yeah.
Right? Because Dragapult, you know, it's a free double up into this. You're not targeting the Dragapult slot, just wasting a turn. So you might as well double Slippy. And from there, you know, my question is, why didn't I just protect this turn?
That's what I was thinking too.
And for those of you guys are wondering, this is actually I think the third time me and Fiona tried to record this. So we're noticing things every single time we go back through this that are different. But either way, Grass Knot from the Slowking into Robin Hood right here, eats it, and there's the knockoff. I think we really should have just protected Slippy. I don't know why we didn't.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we recorded this 3 times already, or 2 times already, and neither of us actually mentioned that yet. So
maybe there's the mistake.
I think that's definitely the big one right there, because then this turn, we could have switched it out.
We would have been able to stall the Trick Room and have Urshifu not get...
Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't have had to been locked into going back into Slippy right here, you know? We would have actually had a little bit more momentum. We would have had a little bit more. But it is what it is. We didn't protect Slippy, so we're still not out of this game, guys. This game is still very much within our grasp. Slowking is very, very low. The size of the Surf Edge, of course, I think is the biggest threat right now. And it's just about preserving Slippy to a spot where we can clean the Dura in the back, or at least put it in range of the Scarf Tox, which was our endgame. So basically, our endgame here was we're either going to clean with Scarf Tox after we get a bunch of chip damage, or we're going to clean with Scarf Urshifu, Banded Urshifu, sorry, after we deal with the threats.
Yeah. So, this turn, of course, we protect our Slippy.
Yeah, we learned. No. But there's another Grass Knot going out into Seismitoad there.
And of course, Knockoff comes out into Dragapult and Dragapult's gone.
Yep, that's
just... Surf has like base 130 attack or something like that.
Yep. Surf Edge is just really, really good. It's as simple as that. It's one of those weird Pokemon, you know? It doesn't really see a lot of usage in VGC, but it definitely can pack a punch and definitely do its job very, very well. I used it in a different draft league before, and it was actually my team MVP, so don't sleep on the duck, guys. Seriously, don't. Yeah. But what you do sleep on is Slippy. Slippy sucks.
So, for this turn, we have our Escavalier in. We are Okaberry, so in case the Slowking does want to pull out like a fire move, we will take it and KO them back with a bug move.
Yep.
And of course, we're still in the same scenario with Slippy and Urshifu where they can just kick that claw off.
Exactly. And had we done this the turn before, we could have been able to protect Slippy this turn again, because we would have sacked the Decidueye last turn. We would have basically been in a little bit of a better spot. Unfortunately here, we cannot afford to lose Slippy. So we have to just go into Urshifu and kind of just hope, really. Yeah. And kind of just hope that it somehow survives the turn. And honestly, I was kind of hoping the Surf Edge would have had Leaf Blade as well. kind of what I'm looking for. But there is the fire move. They actually do hit the fire blast. So, you know, they just said, we're going to risk it. We're going to go fire blast. Screw flamethrower. But Hestu actually takes that very well thanks to the Okaberry. And I mean by very well, I mean very well for a steel bug type. X Scissor, as Fiona mentioned, with the X's in the Slowking's eyes. She mentioned that 2 videos ago, 2 recordings ago when we tried this. But I'm going to steal it from you this time. And Ursha goes there.
Yeah, there's nothing much we could have done to prevent that because Slippy just dies, and if we were to, Ursha could do still one more turn of Trick Room, so we just get close combat for 2v1. So then we would just lose in that scenario.
Yep.
So, this is the last turn of Trick Room. And this is where we should have made a read.
Yeah. This is one of the I think the most pivotal turn in the game.
I think this is.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think this is the turn where we lost.
Minus maybe the turn we lost in the position that we were in. This was the turn that we lost. I think we had other plays earlier that we could have made, but Mando and Hector are really doing a very good job right now, just prepping while having this mode in the back here that we definitely weren't expecting.
So, yeah, now it's really rough because like.
It's one of the things that I don't want to call it a 50-50 because I hate that turn. And right after we locked our move, I said to Fiona, no, Surfetch is going to switch into Arcanine. And had we called this, it was an easy drill run into Duraludon, or a drill run that should have gone into Duraludon, which probably puts it in a little bit, probably puts it close to Earth Power range, which is a lot better in the end game, and you'll see how it stacks up late shortly. But Slippy's going to go for that big old protect here, just to, doesn't want to die, you know? And Ironhead, of course, unfortunately, into that Arcanine, so we don't really get anything from that turn. And Dura with the Snarl is not only a really cool tech, but to us, I think that confirmed AV.
Yeah, it's 100% confirmed AV.
Yeah, because they're going with the more a little bit supportive set. Obviously, Snarl would be the move you drop. You'd have Protect if you didn't have an AV, so to me, that's what they'd run. So that confirmed AV in our heads. And either way, Trick Room's over. We go, hopefully, we hope Slippy is actually faster than AV Duraludon. Unlikely. But we can hope and pray that maybe that's the case. So we're going to either way launch an Earth Power, and I think we decided to protect Escavalier just to stall it an extra turn.
Yeah. Yeah, we protected the Scav. It just gives another turn to where they have to attack that slot.
Yep. And there's a Draco, which is fine. Nothing too crazy there. But unfortunately, it does do a whole lot of damage still, because Slippy kind of bad.
Yeah, unfortunately. But we do live. Oh. And we get the Earth Power off. This doesn't do much.
No, Slippy sucks.
The Snarl earlier hurt a lot.
No, it didn't. We didn't get Snarl. We protected on a turn-day Snarl.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, we never got Snarl. That's just AV Dura being good and Slippy being bad. That's all that is.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, we're in this spot now. All we need to do is, I think if we had gotten the drill run off, we'd be in a. I think we would have won had we drill run the Dura.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because literally our game plan would have executed perfectly, as I mentioned earlier with the Scarf Tox after we chip damage everything. We also, Scarf Tox is actually interestingly enough, is the Surfetch resist, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, funny enough it is.
So because Tox is not the most defensive mon in the world. But having Surfetch in the back, it was actually queuing up basically to what we wanted. Had we just drill run there, I think we had this game.
Yeah, I agree because, as you'll see.
You'll see.
You'll see it's an AV Duraludon.
Yeah.
So.
Tox unfortunately doesn't rip through that quite as much as we'd like. We're gonna go for a. You know what is interesting here?
What?
As I'll tell you guys after, because I don't want to spoil the end game. But just remind me to tell you, because there is something very interesting here that's kind of funny. That might have actually won us the game. Actually, I can tell you guys now. No, I can't. Never mind. No, I can't. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. I'll tell you guys after, like I wanted to. But here's the Snarl. Can we live? Slippy sucks. Confirmed. I'm gonna get Doesn't Click shirts. We're gonna get Doesn't Click merchandise with Doesn't Click logo on the front and some sort of Slippy Sucks logo on the back. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but if you guys are interested in that, put hashtag Slippy Sucks in the comments. But regardless, we're in the spot that we're in right now. And guys, it's not looking good right now. We saw how much it did to Dura. Another one is not going to kill. We basically need to crit at this point, and that's our out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't get a crit.
We don't get a crit, exactly. And there's a Snarl.
Yeah, Snarl. I'm surprised I chose to Snarl instead of, like, Draco. But...
And there's the knockoff, and that's going to knock off our Choice Scarf. That's actually the 3-minute mark. I didn't even notice that came up.
Yeah, I noticed.
I didn't, but it wouldn't have mattered at this point. This game's over this turn. We either double crit and maybe win the game if it's enough to Surfetch, or we just lose. That's what it comes down to here. Obviously, they're going to play a little bit slower, but we can go for the overdrive. And this is where I'm going to point out something that's very, very interesting. Is I think we win if we're Specs Tox, because Tox right now is actually outpacing Duraludon still without the Choice Scarf.
Yeah.
So I actually think we win if we're Specs still, which is funny.
Huh.
But anyways, really, really, really good game to Hector and Mando there. Solid play and solid prep as well. They prepped really, really well for that. And you know what? That's the reason they're 9-1 this year. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else to say. That you saw it right there. That game, I think, showcased exactly why they're 9-1. Not only do they have a versatile team, they also have the skill to actually back that up and be able to switch modes. Okay, their Blastoise mode got completely shut down, but they had the skill. They've stuck with it. They found their win con still, and they were able to execute it perfectly. So they played that really, really well. Big shout out to them for that. Unfortunately, I got to put the standings up on the screen right now, and there's no buy in Doesn't Click's future.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So we will finish guaranteed third in our division, meaning we're going to play the 6th place team in our division, which right now is not currently locked. If it's locked by the time we get the standings, I will maybe make a note, or you guys can just see, you'll see the little star next to their name. But as of right now, we're either going to play the Platinum Pixies, and for those of you who remember, they are the Mudsdale Palkia team, which is always a scary matchup. They have a lot of answers. Or the Ally Switch Spammers. Now, that name may ring a bell from earlier in the season. Or for the the more die-hard Doesn't Click fans, or for those of you who have just been on the channel for a while, the Toronto Talonflames is what they used to go by. And they knocked us out of playoffs last year in the first round. So, hey, we don't really want to play them again. But either way, we'll see what happens there. We'll get who we get. Thankfully, it is best of 3 playoffs this season. So, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be interesting for sure.
I always like best of 3, because I would have loved this game to go to a best of 3. I would have loved to see this in a best of 3.
Yeah.
I would have really loved that. But I think it's time to stop rambling, Fiona. You got anything else to say here?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. I got nothing. In that case, on behalf of myself and Fiona, we're going to get on out of here, and I will catch you guys in the next video.